Welcome back. Today we are jumping headfirst into Bibliomancers Chapter 98. And wow, what a chapter. We've got a rescue mission that almost goes completely off the rails, a dragon getting backed into a corner, and a betrayal that is going to change, well, pretty much everything for the team. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, so the chapter kicks off and we are smack in the middle of a crisis. Just like Nyx warned, Groucho has walked right into a trap. And the whole team is, justifiably freaking out. But of course, Draco, he's the eye of the storm. He's calm, and you can already see the gears turning. He's already got a plan. And I mean, he doesn't waste a single second. He's like, okay, I know this monster, I know where it'll be. Boom. He sets up a search grid, sends Jack and Harry out to cover the sides while he takes the middle. He even puts a 15-minute clock on it just to keep things tight and safe. It's classic Draco, right? All business, super efficient. So then, the story flips over to Jack's point of view, and you really feel what she's going through. This isn't just a search in some spooky woods. For her, she is wrestling with this massive wave of worry and guilt, blaming herself for even bringing Groucho along on this mission. The second Jack steps into the forest, everything feels hostile. The air is just thick with mosquitoes, but honestly, she's so wrapped up in her guilt trip over Groucho, she doesn't even feel them biting. It's like the miserable environment is just a perfect mirror for how she's feeling inside. And this forest, it just keeps reminding us how alien and dangerous this island really is. I mean, Jack runs into a centipede that's a foot long, and then she's getting dive-bombed by bats. This is not your average walk in the park. This place is actively trying to get under your skin.
For Jack, who's trying her best to be quiet, every single sound is cranked up to 11. And it's not just noise. Every snap of a twig is just this constant, loud reminder of how exposed she is and how it's basically impossible to move silently here.
This whole sequence, the bugs, the creepy sounds, walking face first into spiderwebs, it just paints such a vivid picture of Jack's frantic state of mind. She's being attacked by the forest from every direction, which is exactly how she feels inside, just completely overwhelmed with fear for her friend.
So their time is almost up. No cave in sight. So Jack and Harry decide to ignore Draco's orders and just follow his tracks. And this leads to this amazing, classic argument where Jack makes fun of Harry's rotten stick he's carrying, only for him to casually mention it's a knife he's had for nearly 500 years. It's such a great little moment that reminds you just how ancient and experienced this guy really is.
So Jack and Harry are following Draco's trail, and boom, there it is, the cave. But as they get closer, they realize they haven't just found the cave. They've stumbled right into the middle of a super tense negotiation that's already happening.
And get this, Draco isn't even fighting. He's just using pure, uncut intimidation. He walks in and immediately establishes who's in charge, basically telling the monster Maud, "You and I both know how this ends if you hurt my friend." Talk about a power move.
Maud, she's not backing down so easily. She pushes right back, calls out his loyalty to humans, and then drops this little tidbit. She can smell Jack and Harry hiding nearby. And just like that, the danger level for everyone just shot through the roof. Things get really intense, and Maud demands the ultimate promise. Draco has to swear on his eggs. And you gotta understand, this is a huge deal. It's not just saying I promise. For a dragon, this is the most sacred, unbreakable vow you can make. You're literally betting the future of your entire bloodline. And this is where Draco just plays a blinder. He agrees to her terms. He says, fine, I'll swear. But then he completely flips it on her. He says he'll swear to protect her, but only if she agrees to pack up, leave this cave, and go back to the first floor. He basically uses her own demand to trap her. It's brilliant.
And it works. Maud agrees, Draco lets her go, she lets Groucho go. And the second he's free, Jack just bolts to him, scoops him up in this huge hug, just pure overwhelming relief that he's okay.
And then, in a moment that is so perfectly 100% Groucho, he completely shatters this touching reunion with absolutely zero filter. It is an unbelievably awkward and hilarious line, and it does one thing perfectly. It tells us, without a doubt, that he is completely fine.
So they all get back to their base camp, and after they miss supper and just make some sandwiches, it's finally time for the full story. Jack asks Groucho, okay, what on earth actually happened? How did she get you?
So he explains that the awful smell of the swamp actually worked against him. It hid her scent. She smelled him coming a mile away. And the moment he walked into her cave, she blasted him with this poison breath. It left him totally paralyzed, but, and this is the key part, completely conscious.
And because he was awake, he heard everything. Maud did the classic villain mistake. She monologued. She laid out her entire scheme. How she showed up 55 years ago, took over the island's government, and how she's the secret mastermind behind the whole corrupt heaven and hell worker system. Groucho got the whole scoop.
But then Groucho drops the real bombshell. Part of Maud's big plan was to use Lola to lure the rest of them, Jock, Harry, and Groucho, into one final, deadly trap. But Lola said no. She flat out refused. She betrayed Maud to protect them.
I mean, that one piece of news just changes the entire game. Suddenly, the lines between who's a friend and who's an enemy are completely scrambled, and the team is left with a whole new mess of really complicated problems.
Groucho points out that by getting rid of Maud, Jock has basically created a power vacuum, and he kind of jokes, kind of doesn't, that she's now the new Queen of Hell, a title she wants absolutely nothing to do with. She's just like, no, I'm still just trying to find my granddad.
And from there, the whole conversation just explodes into this debate over these huge, impossible questions. I mean, can they really trust Lola now? Is it fair to make Groucho leave someone who clearly makes him happy? And now that they've basically overthrown the government of hell, what happens next?
And leave it to Draco to cut right through all the emotional chaos with pure, cold logic. He basically tells them to put a pin in it. Their main goal, their number one priority, is still finding the Colonel's records in hell. Everything else, Lola, Groucho's love life, the entire future of hell, that's a problem for another day.
And that's where the chapter ends. Not with a neat resolution, but with this really tough, lingering question. It leaves the team, and all of us, thinking about this incredibly difficult choice between the mission you started and the happiness of your friends, and what you're supposed to do when a friend's heart starts pulling them in a totally different direction.